everyone, welcome to the Microeconomics class. I'm Maria Sofia and I'm gonna guide you a little bit through this subject. In this chapter, we're gonna analyze demand, supply, elasticity, and equilibrium. Firstly, I'm gonna make a little definition on what economic is. So economics is the study of how scarce resources are allocated to satisfy humans' wants for goods or services. Starting from demand. What is demand? The demand curve maps the quantity that consumers are willing and that are able to buy a product at a price. So this it's a relationship between the price and the quantity demanded. It's a graph, it's a linear equation, where we have on the y-axis the price and on the x-axis the quantity. With this graph, the line can undergo movements or shifts. So if the demand changes, then our curve will shift left or right. While if our price is going to change, then there's going to be movements within the line. So now we're going to analyze the classification of goods. There are two types of goods. The goods can be substitutes or complements. If they're substitutes, it means that if the price of one good rises, then the demand of the other good rises as well. For example, if the price of milk falls, then the demand of juice will fall as well, because now milk is cheaper and people are going to go for milk rather than for orange juice. So less people are going to buy orange juice, and so its demand will fall. While two goods are complements, if the price of one good rises and the demand for the other good falls. An example for this could be cereals. So if the price of cereal rises, then the demand of milk will fall, because usually you eat you eat cereals with milk. So if cereals are too high priced, then less people will buy milk. The supply curve shows the quantity supplied of any good or service that sellers are willing and able to sell at different prices. So this is the relationship between the quantity supplied and the price of these goods or services. This, as demand, is a curve. It's a linear equation, and we have quantity on the x-axis and price on the y-axis. Usually supply undergo shifts, and these shifts are caused to technology, so changes in technology, and the prices of inputs. Because if to make something the inputs are cheaper, then we can supply more, and so the curve will shift. Now we're going to talk about the market's equilibrium. The market's equilibrium is the intersection point of supply and the demand curve. Exactly this point. And this is the equilibrium price and the quantity of good that the buyers are willing and able to buy, and that the sellers are able and willing to sell the product. So it is the exact intersection of the two curves. Now we're going to start again. Wait. Now we're going to talk about the market's equilibrium. This is the intersection between the supply curve and the demand curve, exactly where they meet. At equilibrium price, the quantity of goods that buyers are willing and able to buy is the exact same that the sellers are willing and able to sell. This means that at this exact point, let's say everyone is happy. However, as before we analyze the shifts and the movements in the two curves, we can have some changes in the supply curve or in the demand curve or in both curves. And this, it's going to change our final estimations. For example, here I put it changes, what happens if we have changes in demand and what happens if we have a change in supply. If we had a change in demand, so let's suppose the quantity demanded, it's more, so our demand curve will shift, but then what happens? It happens that supply remains the same, but the prices will get higher, and of course quantity will get higher as well. Otherwise, if we have a change in supply, so let's say in this case we want to the supply curve shifts, then we have less quantity produced, so quantity will fall, prices will get higher, and the demand will remain constant. This is important to analyze the market and what are the consequences of changes in prices, in demands, and in supplies. Elasticity measures how buyers and sellers respond to changes in the market condition. So this measures how much the quantity demanded responds to changes in prices. A good can be elastic or inelastic. If a good is elastic, it means that a consumer can move away. So, for example, if the prices of apple will rise, then we can easily move away from apples and we can opt for oranges. The goods that are inelastic are those goods that we cannot move away from them. For example, if water will rise its prices, we will still buy water. We are forced to buy water. There's an equation that we can call the price elasticity of demand, and this measures the sensitivity of the quantity demanded to price. So it is the percentage change in quantity demanded over the percentage change in price. If this equation is going to give you, of course, a number, and if this number is between 0 and 1, then the good will be inelastic, while if the number given will be more than 1, the good will be elastic. We can also analyze the income elasticity, and this is the percentage change in income over the percentage change in price. And with this type of measurement, we can see if the good it's inferior good, it's a necessity, it's a normal good, or it's a luxury good. So elasticity measures how buyers and sellers respond to market conditions. This measures how much the quantity demanded responds to a change in price. We can qualify the goods in elastic and inelastic. If a good is elastic, it means we can move away from it easily. For example, if prices of apples rise, then the demand for them will fall because we have another option. We can go for oranges. While goods that are inelastic are those goods that even if their price rises, we cannot leave them. For example, water. If the price of water rises, we are forced to buy it. We can see the price elasticity of demand, and this measures the sensitivity of the quantity demanded to price. So it's the percentage change in quantity demanded over the percentage change in price. If the measurement given it's between 0 and 1, it means that the good is inelastic, while if the measurement it's a number more than 1, it means that is elastic. We can also analyze the income elasticity, and it's always the same principle. So it's the change in income over the change in price. And this allows us to qualify the goods and to understand if they are inferior good, normal good, necessities, or luxury goods. So inferior goods are those goods that higher the income, lower the quantity demanded. So if you're buying Prosecco all the time, but then your income rises. You're gonna buy, of course, champagne. So your income rises and the quantity of Prosecco falls. While normal goods are those goods that when your income rises, then the quantity demanded for those goods rises as well. For example, if you are a family and you have just one car, but then if your income rises, then you can buy more cars. So the quantity demanded for cars rise. Now I'm going to tell you the determinants of the price elasticity of demand. Generally, if a good is a necessity, then the demand of that good is going to be inelastic. As I said before, since water is a necessity, then its demand will be inelastic. We will always go for water, even if the price will rise. Demands tend to be more elastic when there are substitutes for a product. For example, if the price of one soda goes up, then we can opt for another soda of another brand. And demands tend to be less price elastic when goods are complements. The cross-price elasticity is a measure of how much the quantity demanded for one good responds to a change in the price of the other good. Again, we have always the same equation, so a percentage change in quantity demanded of good 1 over the percentage change in the price of good 2. And again, if this number is more than 0, it means that good 1 and 2 are substitutes. So if the price of good 1 rises, then the demand of good 2 will rise as well, as I told you the example of the milk and orange juice in the demand video. While if this number is lower than 0, then 1 and 2 are complements.